With the 33rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Keon Coleman, receiver, Florida State.
And he's a former Michigan Stater, being announced as the first player in Detroit, and this suffices for physical receiver, would you say?
Big physical. You see it on their power forward. Charles talked about getting a receiver to match your environment in Buffalo. He's going to be able to win with bodies all the way around him. After the catch, he can make people miss. He breaks tackles with his strength and even will show off the athleticism as a hurdler. Big time athlete. At the top of the route, again, it's physicality, it's strength. Marcus Colston was my comparison as someone who could be a big slot and just kind of big boy guys down the field. That big frame, that big body, just playing basketball, getting above the rim. CD, his catch reel is as acrobatic as any wide receiver in this draft class. If he would have ran a little bit faster, there's no way he gets there at this point in time for the Buffalo Bills.
But because he's big, strong, and physical, when he does run routes, you can't bump him off of them. So sometimes that makes up for a little bit of lack of speed. All right, time for a player comparison now, presented by Homes.com. We've done your homework, and I love your comp to Marcus Colston. Mine is Mike Williams, the high flyer when he was healthy with the Los Angeles Chargers. See that kind of a play in the end zone? Use the body. Daniel talked about it. Body a guy off. Go get the football. What did Mike Williams do so well? Bodies people up, no matter where he is on the field. Running the go route, having the strength to keep someone off of you, go over the top and catch. Joel, you made the point. Josh Allen's got to have that big, strong, physical guy to throw to. He's got a guy downfield. Environment's one thing, but those big receivers that are forgiving for Josh on the move, on the scramble, making those throws, paramount. And now he goes with the two tight ends who give him a lot of production downfield.
Okay, it's the big contested catch specialist, 6'3", guy who goes up and gets it, Bucky Brooks, and he is now going up and getting it from Josh Allen.
Yeah, this made the most sense for the Buffalo Bills because they were in need of a big-bodied playmaker on the outside. When we think about Josh Allen and how Josh Allen plays, you want someone that can expand the strike zone, especially down in the red zone, where this dude is a big-time playmaker. You talk about bean topping, taking the ball off the top of the defensive back's head. His film is littered with all of those plays. Fantastic player during his final season at Florida State. This is a nice selection for the Buffalo Bills.
Red, have you ever seen Cirque du Soleil? Have you ever been to a show?
I know what we're talking about, but no.
He's got catches littered. I mean, he is like one of those performers at Cirque du Soleil under the tents there flying around, only he's grabbing footballs instead of, ending up on a tricycle or whatever the case may be. Really fun to watch him play. He was a good player at Michigan State. They said, wait a minute now, we're going to go from the Big Ten. You're going to get a few more athletes over there in the ACC. He had no problems. Now, he's a 4'6", 140 guy, and he runs like it and plays like it. He's not going to be fast. But when it comes to contested catches, it comes to the highlight reel catches, it comes to just being a high-volume target. He's somebody who I think can come in right away and be a little bit more help for Josh Allen, and that's something you're looking for. Now, you don't want to base every pick on who can help us right now. The draft is a 3-5 year process minimum. Sure. So, there may be another player that's going to be better than Keon Coleman, but I get it. I get Keon Coleman here because he gives Josh Allen a big target with good, strong hands. And I like the pick here for Buffalo. It's not where I had him ranked, but it makes a lot of sense for Buffalo for what they need right now.
I think Red to get this, Marcus Colston. You remember what Marcus Colston did for the New Orleans Saints
great
for
call.
years in terms of being the big slot receiver.
Yeah, wasn't the fastest dude around.
Yeah, they found a way to match him up, and so I think Joe Brady spent some time in New Orleans, kind of being around the program. I think they can create a plan for Keon Coleman to get open to work the inside part of the field where he doesn't have to use his speed and quickness against corners. Mm-hmm. Maybe they move him inside and allow him to work against linebackers and safeties.
Well, look, and I think Josh Allen's going to love the catch radius.
Yep.
Throw it up and let's go get it when I'm making plays outside of the pocket. I don't have to uncover, right? I can throw this thing up where Keon can go get it, come down with it, and you're manufacturing big plays that way.
With the 60th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Cole Bishop, DB, Utah.
Now, they've lost some guys in the back end. Charles, you've been talking about that. One of your favorite guys here, Cole Bishop. He was my next rated safety on the board here. Big-time ball magnet. You can use him to match up and cover tight ends and plays with huge energy. Another one of those guys where it just feels like if the ball's ever on the ground, Cole Bishop's there to pick it up Always Johnny on the spot, always around the football. Against the run, you can use him as this nickelbacker role because he can play inside, he can bang off blocks, he can really play the run. We always say backers on backs equals sacks. When he's in that spot going up against backs, he has a very high batting average. And CD, here he is working against tight ends, not only covering it, but being able to take the football away.
Let's face it, Eric Weddle, the patron saint of those DBs at Utah. Marcus Williams came out of there, but Marcus Williams more of a center field guy. You've seen Cole Bishop.
Safety. Here we go. Cole Bishop from Utah. He is built like an NFL safety. He is a player with good instincts and just finds his way to the football. He ran a 4.45 40, as you saw right there. So we've got size, we've got speed, we've got the physical traits, we've got the athletic traits, we've got the physicality of what Buffalo is going to want out of the safety position and how they like to play it. You know, basically Buffalo is saying, look, this worked really well for us having good safeties. We're not going to shirk our responsibility and not prioritize safety. And I like that they're doing this. Cole Bishop is a player who got hot during the process. I think at one point he was really considered more of a third rounder. And then I kept hearing, I think defensive back coaches got involved in and said, no. This isn't a third rounder.
Yeah.
This is a guy we want starting. We want to make sure that we get him in the second round so we have a starting safety that looks like a pro safety.
He looks the part, plays the part. He is one that was a late riser, kind of caught fire late in the process. When you draft in the second round, the expectation you should be starting by year 2. Really good player, really good fit in Buffalo, and they've done a really good job with players.
Yeah, and look, the Buffalo Bills needed a safety. You know, lost Jordan Poyer, who's been a big piece of their calculus there in the second.
I could talk about mine.
Just go develop.
I didn't have one.
With the 95th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Dwayne Carter, defensive tackle, Duke.
Dwayne Carter, real powerful, plays with a low center of gravity when you watch him. Quick hands, has a nasty, nifty little spin move that he likes to dust off. That's his go-to. He can also get you with a quick swim move, that quick arm over move. When you're watching defensive linemen, I want to see, guys, can you roll your hips? Do you play kind of stiff hip? Do you play upright, or can you really roll and snap those hips? He does it. I thought Duke this year with Graham Barton on the offensive side of the ball, one of the better guys at that, and on the defensive side of the ball with Dwayne Carter. I'm sure those guys had some great battles there in practice at Duke, but CD, this point in time in the draft, this is a player I believe has got 3-down ability to rush the passer and play on rundowns as well.
And by the way, you want intangibles like crazy? He has them. You saw it up on the screen. 3-time captain. You ask someone at Duke, you know what they're going to tell you? There was one leader on our team. It was Dwayne Carter.
That's right.
This guy's a big-time guy. I love that. And going to Buffalo, that makes a lot of sense for what Sean McDermott wants out of his players, the type of guy he wants to add to his locker room.
And you have a name now associated with the pick Buffalo acquired in the trade with Kansas City.
4-year starter there. Had injuries his last year that put down his production. But exactly what you talked about, DJ. Kind of McCaffrey light in college in play style.
With the 128th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Ray Davis, running back, Kentucky. Go Bills!
Look at some Ray Davis action, back-to-back running back.
Now, this is my third running back in the draft, and just a real natural runner. Talked about previously with Shipley, kind of accepts contact, absorbs contact. Ray Davis seeks it out. He's going after it. You see the compact build here when he's running, and guys just kind of bounce off of him. When they're trying to bring him on the ground, he's able to just play right through contact. Has big play potential. Ran 4.52, but for a real kind of strong, low center of gravity back, it's not just singles and doubles. He hits some home runs as well.
And Florida hopes to never see that tape again. 285 yards for Ray Davis. That ran him into submission. Kind of the next iteration at Kentucky. Remember Benny Snell? And they used to call it Benny Snell football. The way he would run it and put people down in the fourth quarter. The other part about Ray Davis going to Buffalo, Peter, he goes there now with Joe Brady as an offensive coordinator who will gladly turn around and hand the football off to people. He did it down the stretch last year. He'll do it now with Ray Davis getting a few of those carries too.
That's where their offense shifted. It went from being all passing, and then James Cook had that big load. Now you get Ray Davis as well. I think we have the run of running backs going now that we were anticipating. A lot of teams trading back. Did they miss out on it?
I'll tell you what, the Jets must not like the fourth round. They just traded out completely.
With the 141st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Cedric Van Prengranger, center, Georgia.
So Buffalo gets tough in the middle. Cedric Van Pran is an offensive lineman a lot of people thought was going to be a day 2 offensive center going into the 2023 season. I think his play was kind of average at times when I watched him. But Cedric Van Pran comes from an offensive unit that is they're driven by physicality and by any means necessary mentality. I think that's great in college. The technique's got to get a little bit better for Cedric Van Pran. But from a mentality standpoint, he's got the NFL wire.
With the 160th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Irefuan Ulofoshio, linebacker, Washington.
So I went and watched Washington on at the Sugar Bowl when they beat Texas, and I was on the field, and he really stood out from a body type. Yeah, humble brag there. I was watching my wife's Longhorns get beat by Michael Penix in the greatest game of the year by any quarterback, but before the game started, you like to go see how players look, right? You want to go see them in person. And Texas had all these guys, this incredible body types. Washington was just okay until I got to Ulofoshio, and he really stood out. He is heavily muscled. He is explosive. You can see him really off the snap. He gets into the tackle with good explosiveness. He's not quite the rusher, I think, that I want on the NFL level. I think there's some elements of his game that are not going to translate as well. But from a body type standpoint, this is what you want.
This is so Bobby Babich is the defensive coordinator. His dad was a coach. Bobby Babich was the linebacker coach before being elevated to the defensive coordinator role this past year. There's a likelihood that he'll be calling plays. We don't know how that's all going to net out there. But this is so the pick of a son of a coach, right?
Yeah.
This is like a coach's son dream right here. That is why, I mean, it's very Buffalo. It makes complete sense.
Well, listen to these numbers, Mike. 39.5-inch vertical, 10'8" broad. These are the numbers of some of the best athletes that we've seen at wide receiver. And he ran a 4.56 40. So from an athletic standpoint, the profile, you just say, well, I mean, we're drafting him and he's playing special teams right off the bat. And then we'll figure out if we're going to use him off ball as a linebacker, or we're going to play him along the edge. My guess is with Buffalo, they're just going to play him off ball linebacker.
We are so excited to be here. My name is Carrie Pardo. I'm with the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, and we are so happy to lift up youth sports and, of course, to do the Bills pick. So here we go, Bills Mafia. All right.
Here we go. You got it.
With the 168th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Javon Solomon, defensive end, Troy.
Let her talk. She's trying to tell you Javon Solomon out of Troy is the pick of the Buffalo Bills. Stop cutting in on her. Because what she could have told you is he's built like a brick house.
Yeah.
That's right. I would just keep it. Detroit, you knew where I was going. You're from Detroit.
I know, exactly.
But I can tell you one thing. Very powerful hips, powerful at the point of attack, compact. He's on the shorter side, doesn't have great length, is not a prototypical edge defender in terms of being able to set the edge. But what he is he can string moves together. He's very powerful when he gets into the tackle. He's got a low center of gravity and a compact, sturdy base. So when you try to sustain blocks against him, he can just kind of roll you right off. He works around you. He's always around the football. He was tremendously productive at Troy. I like this player. I don't know exactly how Buffalo is going to use him. I mean, he's a little on the short side whenever you're playing him on the edge, but I just think they say, well, he may not have the prototypical height, weight, length that we look for, but we just think he's a good football player. We'll take him in up there.
Cash.
What's up, NFL fans? Make some noise! That's what I'm talking about, okay? Well, everyone, my name is Jason Guerra from Brooklyn, New York, but everyone knows me as Jazzy. I'm here living my dream as a reporter at the NFL Draft. And my dream is really I just want to make sure that everyone across the world also follow their dreams like me. And make sure you guys check out Jazzy's Road TV too. on behalf of Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL, I'm here to salute the next generation of superstars. So, with the 204th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Tylan Grable, tackle from Central Florida. Thank you.
Jazzy delivering. Brooklyn, what's good?
Okay, stand up.
Yeah. All right, Grable. By the way, Knights, just the Knights, Bucky. So we don't.
Just the Knights. I've learned. I don't want to get chastised about the Golden Knights anymore. But I think it's phenomenal. This guy didn't allow any sacks in all those attempts. And when you think about this offense and where we are right now, developmental prospects that have the characteristics that typically lead to long-term success. He has that. You think about his arm length, his ability to play. Don't know if he can go out there and play on the edge forever, but he might be just good enough to give you some spot starts, and that is enough to be a swing player in this league.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he's lasted this long because his athletic profile's pretty good. Like, he really worked out well at the combine. I've got a 59 on him, which is a standard backup role. Usually it's a fifth-round pick. And, you know, I'm looking at all my notes on him. He's got the ability to ride guys around the rush arc. He's got the smooth pass slides, foot quickness to become a better move blocker in the future, big, strong hands, clinch and stabilize run defenders. My grade on him, and based on the strengths and some of the weaknesses I'm looking at, that's a make-it player. And when you're a tackle who can potentially swing back and forth, that's even more value. If you can play, like we talked about earlier, if you're a right tackle only, that's a problem now. But if you can play two tackle spots and you've got an athletic profile, you can potentially stick around even as a sixth-rounder. There's something there.
To you just moments ago, the Buffalo Bills, Saquon Hardy. Now, he's a corner at Penn State, but you can see there 2 punt returns for a touchdown, leading the country in that statistical category. Can't help but think, preaching what you guys have been throwing out there. Special teams, really significant.
Yeah, it's going to come back. It's going to come back in a major way. This is a guy that's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He can make it happen in the return game, but is also a pretty good nickel corner. Sean McDermott, this defense, they have to replace a bunch of sub-package defenders. So maybe Daquan starts as a returner and makes his way onto the field as a sub-package defender, a nickel or down defender.
Yeah, I mean, it's a punt return pick to me. Doesn't have great size. I think the corner tape is average at best. But, man, when you see the ball in his hands and he gets rolling, he's got some ability now. So you can change third phase. You can change the course of a game with third phase stuff if you're a good punt returner. So I think that's why he's drafted here.
With the 221st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Travis Clayton, tackle, International Player Pathway, England.
Union Jack flag on his back.
Look at him.
Let me tell you, he's really interesting. I watched tape on him. Well, I watched his workout. I couldn't find tape. But I watched his workout. He was at IMG Academy in Florida where the Pathway guys go to work out. They do a great job, the Pathway guys. And I'm telling you what, I saw him and started throwing some texts out there like, hey, you guys need to take a look at this Travis Clayton guy because he was very fluid. He's a former rugby player. He was a boxer for a little while. So you've got the movement, you got the toughness, you got the independent hands with his hand strikes. Now I know he's just going through different workouts where he's pass sliding, he's moving back and forth. But Bucky, he was smooth in his sets and in redirecting his weight back. He was quick with his hands. He had like you can watch certain guys and see that they have certain abilities. He ran in the 4.8s. So I want you to pay very close attention to the International Pathway because this is going to become a bigger and look at the feet for the big man. This isn't even sped up. This is going to become a bigger and bigger deal every year, Bucky.
I can tell you, having spent some time over in London during the football seasons, they are always
look at the mirror here.
They can develop those.